Why would he be afraid of clowns? He's not. Yeah, he is. He literally just said so. He's lying? Okay, but that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would he lie? Shouldn't someone have, like, clocked him or something? I don't know. And also, just lying about this stuff is just stupid. Like, if you want to defeat the clown with the power of friendship and all, like, why would you lie about what you're afraid of? Like, that's just dumb. So, like, in my mind... Movies. I mean, I went to film school, so I can say that I definitely enjoy them. But I had to analyze them as well. And one question that I keep hearing recently in the last few years is, why are movies so bad now? Listen, the word bad is subjective, and its most accurate definition of the word bad for this specific question is this: bad, adjective, failing to reach an acceptable standard. So does that mean that we all collectively think that movies are all bad? I don't think so. The question we're truly looking for is more of an observation than a question. It's an observation of the changes that we see in film or media today. Is it nostalgia? Is it actual technical challenges? Or is it the lack of creativity and new ideas? I could go on about these 3 questions and even more questions if I had the time, because all of these questions are not objective. They're all subjective in nature, because movies and art is subjective at its core. Is it nostalgia? Nostalgia is a powerful tool used everywhere. We see it in fashion, we hear it in music, and we see it in film or series media. Nostalgia is safe. You know, I was gonna talk about this. It always comes back to money, doesn't it? I'm missing the it, but it's fine. I'm gonna talk about it later. That was amazing. Okay, sorry. I had like a little like... Anyway, let's focus. Focus. Okay, so nostalgia is safe. It's not just safe story-wise, but also it's financially safe. It's easier to capture someone's attention and feelings, because media is about feelings and conveying emotions through the screen, by showing them something they're familiar with. That's why we rewatch movies or series we've watched before. Let's bring cognitive psychology into the mix. Cognitively, nostalgia triggers 2 areas of our brains: the hippocampus and the amygdala. Amygdala? I don't know how to say this, but you get the gist. Both of them connect the processing memories linked to emotions, and they're here in the brain. So, let's set an example, alright? Let's say you watched a movie as a teenager where emotions tend to run high, and in the brain, as a teenager, changes are constant. So by watching a movie, your brain will release feel-good emotions. Because while it's utter chaos in here, when you relax, when you watch something that's really fun, it releases good emotions. So, let's say 10, 20 years later, by watching this movie again, the memories and the emotions that you felt during this movie when you were a teenager will come forth because of the memories and the emotions linked to the movie inside your brain. So basically what it means is that our brains cannot differentiate what is real and what is not. So you have big emotions in your brain, you try to distract yourself with a good movie, or just a movie that happens to be there when you watch it. It will be better when you watch it back because it brings back emotions and feelings you felt while you were let's say in a more carefree state than you are now. That's what nostalgia is. Basically, it will feel like the movie is so much better than it actually is, or just very excellent, and you're like, oh my god, I remember. It triggers a memory. It triggers something in the part of the brain that feels good. And the same thing happens when we use nostalgic factors and elements in movies and series. Because even if the story is somewhat new, we'll come back to that later, even if the story is somewhat new, the elements of nostalgia makes it feel familiar, ergo safe, and so easier to digest and enjoy. So yes, you could say that it's nostalgia. It's the reason that we don't enjoy as many movies as we did before, because we miss the old stuff. But we know that's not everything. Is it actual technical challenges? Now I know what you're thinking. Technical challenges? Shouldn't we have more resources now in this modern world to make good-looking movies? Well, yes, we do. We actually do. But perhaps we don't know how to use them yet. Or there's just too many and we don't know how to choose them. And you know, like it's a thing. I'm sure it's a thing. When there's too many choices and you kind of freeze because like that's the thing that I just thought about. Anyway, so yeah, it's not a secret that a lot of movies nowadays use green screens or blue screens. It's pretty much in every single one, except if like there's a very, very basic budget. But most of the time, there's use of some blue screens or green screens. The thing with these screens is that you have to light it uniformly so that in post-production it's easier to remove. But in the process of lighting a green screen uniformly, it is difficult to light a scene with cinematic intention. Because unless you have a very, very clear direction of what we will be replacing the green screen in post, you cannot light a scene with intentional storytelling purposes. Because, let's face it, and it's true, in cinema, a lot of things change constantly. You could be shooting something and there's already changes on the script the day of shooting. Like, I'm not kidding. It can happen. So if there's changes in the script and you're shooting in front of a green screen, how do you make sense of that? Oh, we're completely changing the scene, or we're just changing the context clues. And it's like, okay, so where do we go from here? Anyway, for example, in my room right now, as I'm filming this video, there's light coming in from above, like natural light coming in from above. It's a window, and it lights up like my hair, the top of my hair, the side of my face here, my shoulder, and a bit of like here, my chest, if you will. There's a light, artificial light, in front of me, a bit to the side, just to uniform a bit more of the video. But there's still here, on this side, shadow. So it creates dimension everywhere. Let's talk about natural lighting. Recreating natural light is already a challenge. But when you are in a studio and you don't have a clue where the light hits or what surfaces it bounces off of, that's when lighting becomes less of a creative choice and more of like a clinical experience to just light the subject. Because in this very beautiful place, that is my room, the light bounces off the floor, bounces off my walls, which are white, and it just creates light everywhere. That's why it looks like this. And this is the fun part. Oh my god. Okay, so I wanted to show you some example of my favorite lighting in movies and what I mean by creative choice to enhance a story and the clinical process. So let's start with some of my favorite examples. My favorite examples. Thank you. So this is Blade Runner 1982. I liked it so much. I mean, we liked it so much as a team that during my film studies, we recreated this scene. We recreated the entire trailer for the movie. And this scene in particular, I could geek about it all day, okay? It is so good. Because the light, you can't exactly see it because it's a still image, but she is smoking in the scene, she just, you know, and the smoke filters through the light. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. And the light in her eyes is just amazing. We don't see this anymore. Unless. Now, I just talked about it, yeah. Chapter 1. Chapter 1 specifically. Because I only watched chapter 1. Anyway. The light in its eyes. And the highlight on its mouth. Creative storytelling with lighting. It's like, okay, here's a clown in the sewer. It eats children. So where do we put light? Around its mouth. But how do we make it creepier? Let's light up its eyes. Because it's just beautiful. And like everywhere else, it's such a natural lighting that is like, this part specifically is enhanced. And in every single scene I've watched, I love the creative output of like seeing light in its eyes or in the character's eyes, because you see it when it's not there and it's beautiful. Another one, Adam Family Values in 1993. Look how warm, look at the blue, look at the orange, look at the shadows. It is amazing. Because, let's face it, shadows create dimension. And I love a good dimension in a movie. It makes me feel some type of pure joy. Because I get to see like a more dramatic take on the story. It's supposed to be funny, it's supposed to be dark comedy, and the lighting enhances it. It's great. It's amazing. I want more of this. Okay? And my least favorite. I mean, it's fine. But it's giving nothing. There's too many colors. The characters are too many colors. And there's like a lot of CGI. So again, it's difficult to light the scene. Like here, just for example, the light here around the eyes and around here. Yes, it's a little bit of bloom, but it's not like the light actually lives, you know? It's not real. You can tell that it's not real. The fire here, you cannot see anything, apart from maybe here, that the light is alive. They're all looking at the same direction, kinda, but the light doesn't come, I don't know, it's just, it doesn't feel as, like, wow. It doesn't wow me, that's what I mean. And there's no, like, there's nothing. It's giving nothing. Sorry. So, see what I mean? One is cinematographic, and the other is clinical. And it's obvious which one I like best. Next, is it the lack of creativity and ideas? Are movies recycling and repurposing the same stories all the time? Or are we just not actively seeking different stories? Like different stories told by different people? Listen, there's only so many story plots that we can write about. About 6, to be exact. Well, it's a bit more complicated than that. The 6 story plots is more about the emotional arcs of the character. So, that would mean that 2 completely different stories and characters can exist, but the emotional arc is more or less the same. Example, Cars and Thor have exactly, pretty much, the same emotional arcs in their stories. Crazy! Because it's a very egotistical hero who gets stranded in like a small town and learns humility, and eventually he gets better. Just like science. Art, just like with science, isn't created or destroyed. Art is transformed. 3-act hero. A lot of movies nowadays can feel like something that's been done before, because it has been done before. Superhero movies, let's talk about that. The hero believes in a lie about their world, inner or external. They go on a journey, aka an adventure, of some sort. They get to their breaking point and realize that they have been living a lie the entire time. That's the basis of storytelling. And when it's well done, the story can be captivating even if that type of story has been done before. Yet, in some cases, movies or series focus more on what's happening on screen to capture the audience attention with massive explosions and crazy sound design, rather than the true core of a story, the characters. And I put The Simpsons here because I feel like it represents a lot of what good characters actually mean. It's a cartoon show about a stupid man, but he's put in so many situations. But the reason it works is because he's such a good character. If he was lacking in any department, we know how Homer Simpson is. We know how he would react to certain situations. That's what makes him a good character. That's why we can put him in different scenarios and like situations. I love The Simpsons. Now, in my personal opinion, stories tend to fall flat when the characters are used as a means to further the plot rather than the other way around. When the character exists solely because of the plot, then when that plot no longer happens or when it's resolved, the whole character falls apart and the story collapses. How can I put this in words that make sense? Is life doesn't happen to you, you experience life. When a character is based solely on the plot, it makes no sense. Because the character is it's the driving force of a story. It's their inner thoughts, it's what's happening to them and how they can change or not depending on the story. That's the story. The story is not what's happening, it's how the character reacts to the changes that he experiences or they experience. Again, my opinion. So, I don't think that we are necessarily lacking in creativity or ideas, because every day I can read and watch stories that feel new and fresh. And I think, personally, that in a lot of big mainstream media, we are missing the core value behind good storytelling. And a few recommendations, because it's real recommendations. Baby is an Italian show, and it's really good. It's, again, like a very basic high school drama, but it's so good because the characters are complex. It's character driven. Again, Falling Into Your Smile is a Chinese drama about a young girl, a woman, that is into the esport industry. And she gets a chance to be on a team. But again, she is a woman, so she experiences a lot of sexism within the story. And it's very interesting to see how it affects her and how it affects how the people see her when she wins. Like, it's so good. And another one, Hidden Figures. I watched it on a bus when I was returning from New York. I cried again. I mean, a lot of these stories kind of center around women in male fields, and I'm loving it. Again, it's all character driven. So, who are we making art for? That is a very interesting and controversial take, apparently. We tend to want quick and easy to digest movies to show everyone and anyone to make as much money as we can. Because let's face it, it's all about the money. We don't care about anything. It's money at the end of the day. But, again, my opinion, by wanting to show the same story to everyone and anyone, we end up targeting no one. A good example that targeted a very specific demographic and kind of just blew is Heated Rivalry. It's a gay show about hockey. That's very niche. And yet, a lot of people enjoy it and a lot of people like it because it's niche. It's a niche experience of gay people, gay men, in sports that we don't talk about a lot. It's a very important topic to talk about. Best to talk about in a show that's nice. I've yet to watch it though, because I don't have Crave. So, in conclusion, why are movies so bad nowadays? They're not. I can't say they are, because I cannot make the objective decision to agree or disagree that all movies are bad nowadays. Because at the end of it all, what you might perceive as a bad movie, I might perceive as a good movie. And because art is art and art is subjective. What I'll say though is that the modern issue with a lot of movies nowadays is lack of focus. The lack of good storytelling based on characters rather than plot, and the lack of intentional lighting. But that's just me. And I'm just a girl on the internet talking about it. Ciao.